everybody, thanks so much for joining me. I have a really fun video planned for us today. I got a new sewing machine. I know, big surprise, but can you really blame me? Just look at this little beauty. This is a Singer 301A. It was manufactured in 1953 in Anderson, South Carolina, and I am just absolutely in love with this machine right now. I would love to show it to you and possibly sew something with it today. So these machines are all aluminum. They're super portable, pretty lightweight. It's got a cool little handle here. So really you can take it anywhere, just like a featherweight. And I believe that these were considered the big sister to the featherweight, honestly. So they're a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, a little bit taller, and have a little bit more throat space as well. So that's pretty cool. And I believe that these machines maybe came in like 4 different colors. They came in black, this cool kind of dark brown mocha color, which I just absolutely love, and also a lighter tan, and I believe there was a 2-tone kind of lighter tan and white. So I kind of hope that I can find one of each, honestly. They do also come with a longer bed. They have long bed and short bed. This one happens to be a short bed model. So it's got this cool little flip up bed for easier portability. You can kind of stick it down into whatever case you've got. Originally, these came with what I think was called a trapezoid case. It was kind of a big suitcase looking thing. And you know, you just flip that up, kind of slide your machine into it, kind of the front kind of folded down. This machine did not come with one of those cases, unfortunately. So I quickly jumped online once I got this and tried to find one of those trapezoid cases, and they are out there, but they were very spendy. And they were kind of ragged looking too, because they're pretty old. And so I did a little searching and came up with a good solution. Instead of that, I actually found this on Amazon, and it's just a little sewing bag. I think I only paid like 30 bucks for it. But it's pretty cool. It's got this cool little zipper pouch here, and you can put all of your sewing accessories in there. And this big area, I just measured my machine and then looked at the inside dimensions of the bag and knew that it was going to fit, and it does fit perfectly. So that's pretty cool. Once I put the machine in there, though, the bottom kind of sagged a little bit. It was just, I don't know, I just wanted it to be a little more sturdy. So I just got myself a piece of thick corrugated cardboard and wrapped it with fabric, and you can just slide that baby right down in here, and it just kind of gives it a more sturdy bottom. And that is going to be my travel case for this little machine. So that's pretty cool. One thing I do like to do is go sew donation quilts for Project Linus. And if you happen to have a bunch of old quilts that you've made that you don't know what to do with, or you want to make a donation quilt for a child in need, look up your local Project Linus chapter. I believe there's one in every state. They donate quilts to kids in the hospital, just any kid that needs a warm hug. So if you're interested in that, check out your local Project Linus chapter. So our local chapter has a sew along every few months or so, and this is going to be my new travel machine, and I can't wait for the next one because I get to take this little baby with me. So let's look at the features of this machine. I mentioned the cool little fold-up table here. It just kind of gives you a little more workspace, and it does have a pretty nice size bed on it here for sewing. And then with this flipped up, it gives you really nice access to your bobbin area. And also you can drop your feed dogs with this little knob here. So that's pretty cool. It does take the same size bobbin as a featherweight, I believe. So that's cool. And coming around here, it's got just a real basic tensioner, works great. It's got a nice little springy spring there that still has some spring left to it, so that's good. And this little door right here will flip open, give you access to the inside here where you can oil your needle bar and all that good stuff in there. So that's pretty cool. I just absolutely love the kind of Art Deco styling on the end of this machine. It's just really cool. Love the look of this little machine here. So coming around the front here, it's got a nice little light here, lights up your work area very nicely. It's got this cool little handle, so you can just take it really anywhere you need to. Take it across the house or across town. And coming across here, you've got your standard stitch length and reverse. It's got a beautiful Singer badge and your little 301A badge here. And it's got a great bobbin winder on it. This little bobbin winder kind of just folds flat into here, kind of just really gets it out of the way. And you just flip that up, engage it with the wheel, and you're good to go. You've got your little spool holder there for your bobbin thread, your little tensioner here. Just wrap it right up around there and you're good to go. And then it just kind of folds flat right into there. So that's great. And then you've got your nice sleek little wheel here and your clutch, your power cord, and your foot pedal cord as well will plug into there. And this is a slant shank machine. I believe it's the first slant shank machine, if I'm not mistaken. And what that means is the shank is just kind of angled out toward you a little bit. And it just gives you better visibility while you're sewing. And I'll tell you what, I've sewn on a few slant shank machines and they're pretty cool. And it really does. I mean, you'd be surprised at just that little bit of forward movement there. Just really does help you see what you're doing that much better. So that's pretty cool. All right, I think that is about all of the features of the machine. This is the foot pedal that came with it. And I originally thought that this was the original foot pedal, but as you can see, it is definitely not the same color. So maybe this is not the original pedal. But the style is the same style that would have come with this era of machine. So it's kind of just the one button here. You know, usually a lot of the other pedals have this, you know, the whole pedal depresses, and this is just actuated by just one button there, which, you know, is great for me. I have heard that a lot of people don't like this style. I love this style. And mainly because I sew barefoot most of the time, and you know, you just stick your toe on that button there and you're good to go. So this particular pedal has great speed control. It goes really slow and really fast, and I am just super happy with how this operates. I got lucky there. All right, so my plan is today to kind of, you know, see if this machine is going to sew something for us. I have a project lined out that I'm going to bring you along for. But first, I think it's going to need to be oiled. You know, I found this machine on Marketplace, and I got really lucky. I had my eyes open for a 301 for a while, and I had been looking for quite a while. And there were a couple on there, but they were just way too expensive. I just wasn't going to pay those prices. And this one happened to pop up one day on Marketplace, and it was a fair price. So I went to look at it. It was part of an estate sale of a lady who had recently passed away. And I just fell in love with it as soon as I laid eyes on it. So I brought her home, and here she sits. I haven't really sewed anything. I ran a couple pieces of fabric through to test it out and make sure it was going to run all right, but that's really all I've done. You know, if you've watched any of my other videos, I usually bring home a super dirty old machine from a thrift store or something like that, and you know, I'll tear it all apart and fix whatever needs to be fixed and get it all lubed up and get it running again, and then try to sew something on it. I don't think this machine has anything that needs to be fixed from what I can tell. It had a little bit of dust on it, which I wiped off because I just wanted her to be pretty. And I think that it is just going to need a good oiling everywhere in all the oil ports. And I think after that, we're good to go. So we'll get to that in just a minute. I do want to tell you about the project I plan to make on this. We're going to go with the Mini Petals quilt. And I found the free pattern online and downloaded it. As soon as I got my hands on that, I realized that Donna Jordan from Jordan Fabrics did a tutorial, great tutorial on this little quilt. So the project that she turned out just turned out super cute, and I knew I needed to make it. So that's what we're going to do today. The pattern calls for 2 charm packs, and I don't have 2 charm packs laying around. So what I do have is a whole drawer full of batik fabrics, and Donna Jordan had made hers out of batiks, and it just turned out so pretty that I wanted to make mine out of batiks too. Why not? I am a big sucker for batiks. So anytime I can make something out of a batik fabric, I'm doing it. So anyway, I just rummaged through my stash, cut myself a bunch of 5-inch squares, and so we're good to go there. Just kind of made my own charm pack, and it calls for a lot of 2.5-inch squares too. And you know, Donna Jordan, you'll see on her tutorial, she used a great light blue for her background, and I just happened to have this light blue in my stash that I couldn't figure out what to do with. So I thought, why not? I'll use it for my background too. So that's what we're going with for the background fabric. And I happen to have this beautiful blue and purple sunflower print batik that I've had for a while. And I just think it's going to make a great border on this quilt. So that'll be our border fabric. So this will be less of a tutorial of how to make the quilt and more about, will this machine make a quilt? I'm pretty sure it will, but I'm super excited to kind of just put it through the paces and see how she's going to do, see how strong it is. So that's my plan. I am going to grab a few things. We're going to get this girl all oiled up and ready to sew, and then we'll make something. So next we are going to plug it in, and we're going to see just how well this little baby sews. I am going to just chain piece away here and see how far we can get. Okay, so we got our quilt top all done, all pieced together on the 301, and I think it just turned out really, really beautiful. I love all the different colors, and this pattern was really fun and really easy to sew up. So just super pleased with how that turned out. But the question is, how did the 301 do with making this project? And I gotta tell you, this little beauty did wonderfully. I had no issues during the whole entire process. This little thing just stitched right along and just was a little workhorse. It was awesome. Didn't have any thread hang-ups, no thread issues with the bobbin, no tension issues. I chain pieced all of the blocks, just kind of zipped them right through one after another, and it just chugged right along and just did a great job. And you know, as the quilt got bigger, as I started sewing the rows together and the borders, you kind of, you know, add more weight and kind of create some quilt drag basically. And it did not affect it at all. It just kept stitching right along. It was wonderful. So this machine is 70 years old. And I guess that just goes to show that if you take a really good care of these old machines, they will just keep on going for you for many, many years. They just need some maintenance and some TLC, and they'll just keep on going. So they're wonderful machines. I am curious to know if any of you out there have a 301. And if so, what are your thoughts on it? Do you love it? Do you want more like I do? And what do you sew on it? If you do have one and you use it every day, what are the types of things that you normally sew on this machine? So I would love to hear from you all. Comment down below and let me know your thoughts on the 301. So I need to, with this just being a quilt top, I need to get this quilted. And while I would love to do that on this machine also, I just don't know that it's a really great option for that. If this machine were recessed down into a table where the bed was just flat with the table, and you had this nice flat big workspace to kind of glide your quilt along, I think that this would be great for that. I'd drop those feed dogs down and get that done in a heartbeat on this little thing. But I don't have that kind of table for this. It just sits on the table, and with it, you know, kind of being raised up on the table, I just don't know that the quilt is going to glide as well, and I don't know if I'm going to get the best results doing that with this application. So normally I would do the free motion quilting on my Juki here. This is just a wonderful machine. This is the TL2010Q. It has a nice big flat bed here, and this machine is just amazing for free motion quilting and piecing, really. I have no issues doing anything on this machine. But I have another option here in the house that I think I might try for this particular quilt. I have a FOF 230, vintage FOF, and it does free motion quilt very well. And if you want to see it in action, my husband actually has been doing some free motion quilting on that machine on his channel, Never Too Many, right here on YouTube. So check that out. He's got a couple videos where he's just given it a shot, and it seems to work pretty well. So I might give it a shot myself and get this all quilted up on that. There will be a video in the near future on that. My plan is to maybe kind of outline each one of these cool little shapes here and kind of make a little leaf or a petal pattern or something on that. So we'll see how that turns out. So yeah, I guess that about does it. I, once again, am just super happy with how this little 301 stitched up, and I'm going to be using this machine for many, many years to come. Of all of the machines I have gotten my hands on, I think this is pretty close to the top of my favorites of my vintage machines. It's hard to pick a favorite, but this one's up there. So thank you so much for watching. I had a ton of fun bringing you along for this little process. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.